Welcome to FafNir Guide. Today's guide is about Labyrinth, or its official name, Labyrinth. I know you might confuse with these names, but there's a reason why Konami do that. It's because there is a monster called Labyrinth Wall. They don't want that monster to be a part of the archetype, so they twist the naming a bit. So if you want to search this archetype in the game, you need to type it, Labrynth. This deck is pretty straightforward, much like Runic, Disrupt, Draw, Set Trap, and back to Disrupt again. It's a trap deck, so if you like playing Eldleech, you gonna love this. The difference is, Eldleech Trapper is more to floodgating your opponents. Labyrinth is more to removal disruption, and taking the advantage of that removal afterwards. It's specifically said in their effects, normal trap, but there's nothing wrong playing Floodgate in this deck. Floodgate is always helps, especially Rivalry of Warlord, because these archetype also restrict themselves to only summon Fiend monster. The one that are really controversial are Skill Drain. Since your monster also have a role in disruption, it could backfire on you as well. But if you smart enough, this deck can play around Skill Drain. That's why in every Labyrinth video that I made, in the comment section I always say, the tough part of playing this deck, is not only understanding their cards' effects, but it also more on how to properly manage your chain effects among all of your trap and trigger effects to get the full potential this deck can bring. It's a basic real-life skill ceiling that you needed in order to play it properly. It's some kind like memorizing the combo line in the combo deck, but the difference is, all your combo are happening in one resolved chain reaction. I'm gonna use this deck to guide you, but if you insist to use Skill Drain, I'm gonna show you how to play around with your own Skill Drain in the Dueling section. Keep in mind that we are still missing two great addition, which is Lady Labyrinth and Big Welcome. Most of Labyrinth cards has trigger effects, some of them activated on the field and some in the graveyard, which is better if I explain them in the Dueling section. I'm going to explain some of the generic effect first. Lovely ignition effects is to grab any normal trap card from your deck and set it back to the field. It's only activatable if you control a fiend monster. It also have lingering effects where your opponents cannot respond to your normal trap activation using monsters they control, which means Barone, Borlo Savage, or even Zeus can't activate their effects in response to your normal trap card. Arianna triggered when special or normal summoned to add any Labyrinth card from deck to hand. Ariane can special summon any level 4 fiend monster from deck to field, by sending a normal trap card from hand or set field. It's the monster that lets you access other archetype fiend monsters such as Musket, Lady Lament, or even Unchained. Archfiend is more like a beatstick for this deck and also battle protection to other fiend monster. It gain 400 attack for every normal trap in your graveyard. If it's special summon, you can set any normal trap from deck to field. Stovie and Chandra are basically the same. They can send themselves from hand or field and discard one other card from hand to set any Labyrinth spell or trap including the field spell. The difference is Chandra when triggered by normal trap will return to hand, while Stovie, summoned to field. This will cause a loop where you could set any Labyrinth spell trap from deck by activating Stovie and discarding Chandra every turn. Labyrinth is the field spell. Both of their effects are trigger effects, which I'll show you in Dueling section. Welcome Labyrinth. The UR trap card from this archetype will let you special summon any Labyrinth monster from deck, but it restricting you to only special summon fiend monster from deck and extra deck, but not from hand, means it's not conflicting with Heavenly Prison. Labrynth Barrage. Its effect is to copying any normal trap card's effect that you activate in the previous chain. You can also chain this card to Dimensional Barrier. With these you can select two types of monster cards to be floodgated this turn. Fun fact: if you activate Barrage after you activate Epidemic, you can select both spell and trap card in a single resolve. Let's talk about the normal trap cards that can benefit Labyrinth trigger effects. Here are the list that can benefit you. Any normal trap that after resolve, remove monster from either field will benefit you to trigger almost all of Labyrinth cards' effects. Remember only the effect on resolve, so all viruses effect where you tribute your monster doesn't trigger it. But there are also other trap card effect that remove monster on resolve but it doesn't trigger Labyrinth cards, such as Ferret Flames. Yes, it removes monster, but it's not the trap cards that remove it. The trap cards simply command your opponents to remove the monster by themselves, so it won't trigger Labyrinth effects. Let's get on the dueling section, where you're gonna learn how to properly chain your cards in this archetype. Arianna and Ariane. They both have same trigger effects when triggered by normal trap card that remove monster from field. It will let you to draw one card, and give you a choice to special summon a fiend monster or set a trap card to your field. Lovely. Her trigger effects is allow you to destroy one card in your opponent's hand or field. Stovie and Chandra. When going second, I suggest you activate this effect at your opponent's end phase, so you will have an activatable Welcome Labyrinth on your turn. You can also play a mind game by turning off your activation at the beginning or the turn, and turn it back on when your opponents already summon monster 5 times. With these we can make our opponents think that we have a Nibiru on our hand and they will be think twice to summon their monsters, or worse, they just gonna end their turn. Stovie and Chandra requires to discard a card from your hand to activate their effects. It will be better if you also have Backjack on your hand, so you can discard Backjack to activate their effects. With these you will have one Welcome Labyrinth and one other trap cards activatable on that turn. If you already have Welcome Labyrinth, you can search Labrynth Field spell instead, but the downside, it will be set face down. Absolute Backjack. Don't miss this part. I dueled lot of Labyrinth players and most of them messed up Backjack quick effect order. Backjack has 2 effects. One is triggered and the other one is quick effect on opponent's turn. The trigger effects triggered when this card sent to graveyard. It let you to peek top 3 cards from your deck and set them back on which order you want. Number 1 will be at the top of your deck. This effect is one of the reason that you need to be careful when playing your cards. You could accidentally shuffle that top 3 cards that you already set up to your advantage. So be mindful not to add cards from deck or summon anything from deck after you activate this effect. The quick effects is banishing this card from graveyard and excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a trap card, it will be set to your field and can be activatable at the same turn. So as you can see, both effects will benefit each other if activated in a correct order. The trigger effects first and then the quick effect. You can use this to set up a turn 1 trap card when going second, so you will have a disruption on opponent's first turn. So here is the situation. You are going second and you are at opponent's phases. You have Stovie or Chandra plus Backjack on your hand. Stovie will prompt you to activate its effect since it's a quick effect. Activate it and discard Backjack to graveyard. Another prompt will pop again. This is where a lot of people messed up. This prompt here is for the quick effect. Stovie effects hasn't been resolved yet, so we are still in the chain reaction. The trigger effects will trigger after Stovie effects resolve. Activated. The second prompt will pop up again. We haven't resolved the trigger effects yet, so we must cancel this one. After it resolve and set trap that you want as number 1. The third prompt will pop up and this is it. We activate it. And we gonna set the trap card that we peeked before to the field and it will be activatable. If you want to chain Welcome Labyrinth and other removal trap cards, it's better to do it in the correct order. The removal trap as chain 1 and then welcome as chain 2. With these the Labyrinth monster already present on the field for it to trigger its effect after the removal trap resolved. If you do it wrong, these will happen. It's also work with Arianna. Arianna will have 2 trigger effects that activatable at the same time, but sadly you can only activate one of them. The field spell have 2 trigger effects. The first one is triggered by activated Welcome Labyrinth, which allow you to destroy one card your opponent control as part of the welcome effects. If you destroy a monster, this effect turn welcome into a removal normal trap card. That can also trigger Labyrinth monster effects because its resolve on welcome effect. You can also destroy your own monster to trigger the Labyrinth monster effects. The second effects is triggered by activated non-Labyrinth normal trap card. You can special summon one fiend monster from hand or graveyard. Ghastly Glitch. It's not a part of Labyrinth cards even though the art is, and it's not directly support Labyrinth, but it can benefit them. If you control a fiend, target and destroy one card on the field and then send a fiend monster from deck to graveyard. Here is a trick where you can summon any fiend monster from deck using field spell and a fiend monster on the field. Activate Ghastly Glitch, destroy anything you want, and then send one fiend monster which is your wanted fiend monster to graveyard. After that field spell will trigger second effect since Ghastly Glitch is a non-Labyrinth cards, to special summon the fiend monster that you just send from deck. Epidemic Virus. Since we are in Runic meta right now, Epidemic is one of the best choice to add to the deck list. We also have good monster to tribute with, Prison and Lovely herself. Select spell cards, and all runic cards will be destroyed in 3 turns. Good things that it's a normal trap card. It can trigger the field spell to summon back Lovely after tributed by it. And after that Lovely can also set Epidemic back to the field from graveyard. There is a lucky trick that I pull using Stovie or Chandra plus Backjack plus Heavenly Prison. As you know, Backjack trap cards can be activatable as soon as it's set. It same goes with Trap Trick. I pull this Virus Trick combo on my opponent's first turn. Skill Drain. If you want to activate your Labyrinth monster effects under Skill Drain, you must at least have a removal trap card set on field. The best one is compulsory. It can return your Labyrinth monster to hand. The effects will resolve, and if you have the field spell up, you can summon it back to the field after. The reason we bring Entis, Fossils, Five-Headed Dragon, Wind Pegasus in the extra deck, is because they're graveyard effects. They are the best Dogmatica punishment materials. That's all for the guide. I hope this guide will help you a lot when you try to play this deck. Just wanted to remind you again. This deck is simple. It's just not as easy as Eldleech 1, where Floodgate is the main trap card. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. I wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. See you soon.